All right, I think we might be live on YouTube right now. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Floxies community. If you're new, welcome to our headquarters. If you're a bit less than new, welcome back. It's always good to see you. Today, hi Mirella. Today we have Nelson here, who's, if you've been in the Webflow world, you must know who Nelson is for a lot of things, for a lot of value there he's been sharing with the community. I don't know if he's ready to share here with us. Not yet. That's fine, Nelson. Don't worry, because we're quite chilled here. So the way our conversation is going to work, especially for the people that have just joined us today, is going to be, we're just going to have a chat, like 25 minutes chat. It depends on the guest speaker. So today, my understanding is that we're just going to have a casual conversation with Nelson, asking him some questions from the people here, from the people from YouTube, and we will be talking about was it honesty, empathy, and what was the last one, Nelson? Can't remember.
Imperfection.
Imperfection, which clearly is what I'm great at. But anyway, we're just gonna have a casual interactive chat and some space at the end for a Q&A. Feel free to just jump on your mics and ask them some questions if you like, or you can also use the emojis at the bottom of our gather town to put your hands up. If you don't feel like you want to interrupt anyone talking, you can just use the emojis, put your hand up, and we'll get to you. All right, so Nelson, I think the girls are not here to hear me blabbing anymore, so I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And it's wonderful to see this community grow. We need more women in tech. We need need more of that diversity, and seeing this happen through the Floxies community is amazing. So much props to all of you for making this happen and growing your community. And again, Claudia, thank you for starting this and making this all happen on your own free time. So thank you.
Yeah, that little free time that I try to have, but it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So well, honesty, empathy, and imperfection. And I'll start with honesty. Honestly, I am not prepared for this. I told you, Claudia, on DM just like 10 minutes ago, I am not ready. But I mean, that's the thing, right?
That's what honesty
Being
is all about.
yeah, yeah. Well, my first question then to your group and is what do you think is honesty? What is your thought of honesty? If anyone wants to raise their hand, what what is honesty to you?
I can start off, and then people, if you want to intervene, as I said, just put your hands up or just jump on the mic. Today's going to be just more of a conversation rather than anything else. Honesty is something that I'm quite passionate about because both in the professional and personal aspects of life, I feel like if you're being honest, you're being true to yourself and other people, you can only get some positives out of that because people are not expecting something that you're not if you're presenting yourself for who you are. So I try not to say so many lies in my personal private life, white lies maybe, not even, because I work in the schools. So the first thing that they teach you is that you can never tell a lie to a child because they will hold you accountable for that. And I just transferred that to everyone else as well. So I try not to lie. I'm always quite honest with my intentions, and I try to do that in my professional life as well, especially with this community. It's been growing organically just because I've been sharing who I am from day one and what I'm trying to do. And whenever I think of something new or some new ideas, I always put it up to the group first, and I just try and create things collectively. So I'm always quite transparent in everything I do, and I feel like people can get a sense of that and join in if if what they hear is something that they like, then they will organically follow. That's
Love it.
that's my
Love it.
point of view.
Love it. Anyone else?
I think I'm too honest, and then I hurt people's feelings. Like, not that I want to, but I don't know how to be the other way. So then it might come off too much, and people get hurt. Where I was just merely saying, "Hey,
Mm.
this can go from obviously not to sensitive subjects. I'm talking more to the other side of it, like." Does this pants look bad? It's like, yes, like that. Not like bad stuff, but that's how I feel.
I feel you. I'm
Cool.
like, don't ask me about my opinion if you're not ready to be like, I don't like it. Because otherwise I would be like, yes, it's nice. And then you can tell I'm like, really, like, I don't like this. Don't ask me. You put me in a bad spot. So it's like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So all of those, like
Mirella's
all of
got her
those are.
hand up, I think. Sorry, Nelson. Mirella's got her hand up.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
Hello, Nelson. Very nice to meet you. I'm
Hello.
Mirela. I was actually, thank you for your question. I was looking at the definition of honest at Cambridge Dictionary, and it says telling the truth or able to be trusted and not likely to steal, cheat, or lie. And I was trying to connect this definition on in our community and design world. And I was thinking especially about your approach during the years in your live streams. And this is something that I've been sharing many, many times with everyone I know, that I think that your unique approach during in your YouTube videos was so honest, and that was the unique thing that actually made you be distinguished from anybody else in the community. I guess probably also within Webflow as a company, but from an external point of view, I think yeah, I really appreciated your honesty, even when you didn't know how to do something. You just like thinking out loud how to get to a solution, trying different things, making mistakes, starting all over again. And yeah, that was, I guess, the best learning experience that we all had from you. With honesty, you made possible for us to trust you. So
Aw.
this is also something that we try to do in this community. Whenever someone has a challenge or has a problem, and we just try not to just tell directly. We don't always know the solution, but we just try to get an honest approach and just share our perspective. So yeah, it's like something that drives us in what we do.
Thank you. Aw. Group hug. Like. Oh. Thank you.
We need an applause now. We don't have those effects.
Maybe we do. I need to find that.
Thank
we can
you
use
all for your
emojis
comments.
for the hearts or like Z and dance.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It honesty is all those things, and I guess my answer to it is it's honesty to yourself. Like, how many times have you walked in front of a mirror and you're like, ugh, not today. Oh God. You're like there's a pimple or something, or there's just some imperfection, and you're like, no. But honesty is when you look into a mirror and you accept everything you see, the good and the bad. And it's hard. It's a daily practice to accept everything. And one of the things that I do to help my daughter, she's 5, but she probably doesn't understand why I make her do this every day before she leaves the door. While I'm putting on her shoes, I try to make her as keep her honest as possible with these her mantra, I call it. And so while I'm putting on her shoes, I say, okay, time for mantra. And then as I'm putting on her shoes, I'm like, I am, and then she has to repeat after me. So she says, I am beautiful. I am brave. I am smart. I am kind. I am Nova. And it's just a reminder, not only to her, but also to myself and to my wife, of we're all of that and more, you know. And we need to remind ourselves. So when you walk in front of a mirror, you know that that's who you are, and you want to be honest with yourself. Like, I forgot who said it, but like, being too honest with someone else, um, you know, like as with everything, everything has a pros and cons. Everything is a double-edged sword, and so, but my wife is extremely honest with me. I was writing these notes down last night, and she was reading through it, and I'm all nervous, and she's like, "Nah, I don't. It's just be a presentation or a discussion?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not prepared." And she's like, "No, you shouldn't." But when you're telling someone something that's honest, and your intention is to help them grow, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. There are times when I tell my wife, no, like, this thing you're doing, this path, or what you're wearing, I know you can do better. I know you do better. Sometimes she's like, babe, how are my eyebrows? I'm like, nah, it's not even. And she has to redo them or something. It's just being honest with the intention of helping that other person grow. Now, if that person can't take it, you know, that to me, that's on them. And you're just, if there's this thing called ruinous empathy, where, you know, you don't tell the truth, you go around because you don't want to hurt that person's feeling. But if you're always on the point of like, oh, good job, but you never say, okay, but you could do this better, and it's always just a good job, and you're not giving that honest critique, that person is not going to grow. So if you're not being honest with that person, then that's also a bad thing. So how me and my wife, how our relationship has grown is always, we're super honest with each other, even to the point where we get into an argument. But arguments are healthy in a relationship. So because we both have good intentions, and once we calm down, we gather our thoughts and we be completely honest with each other. There's a time when I'm like, babe, I really feel like, you know, you could grow in your career if you do this, if you just do this. And we would have arguments about it, and the next thing you know, I love when she says this. When she says this, yeah, babe, you're right. And that rarely happens.
Once per year, I was about to say.
But like, I do with good intention. But most of the time, you know, I say, yeah, babe, you're right. But it's, you know, it has to be balanced. It has to be balanced. So it's also the same thing. If we bring it back to web design, it's always good to be honest, even when you're building websites. When your client is like, ooh, let me put this animation and this animation, and let's just do this. And you know in your heart that this is a bad user experience. This is just going to be bad. There's a red flag everywhere. And they're just telling you, I want it to look like Apple. I want it to do this and do that. And you're like, but you sell mops. You you don't sell computers or something like that. No. And being honest with your clients, even if it seems like, okay, they're probably not going to take this well, you're trying to help them grow. And yeah, so that's how I take honesty. It's like just always helping someone grow, and always being honest with yourself and seeing everything that's good in yourself and bad, and helping yourself grow with that honesty to yourself. Like, I finally accepted that, yeah, I am not working out enough. I am eating too much junk food. I hit 193 pounds. I want to be slimmer and more healthier for my family so I can be here longer. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to, that's what I want. And I need to be honest with myself. And my knees are already, already have some weak knees, and so I'm working on that with a physical therapist. And so, yeah, I'm honest with myself, but I'm not at the point in my head where I'm like, oh, I'm terrible. This is not good. No, I'm still a good person. I'm trying to help others grow, and I'm trying to help myself grow. There's things I need to work on, but in the real world, everyone's working on something. And last thing about honesty is, if you saw the last quarterly live stream back in January, a lot of people call this out, including the I know the Fin. I saw something from FinSuite. They're like, yeah, the last stream was heavily scripted. It was, and I learned from it. Next stream is all streams from that point forward, not scripted. They're just outlines for me to talk from my heart, not scripted to the point where I'm reading each and every word on the teleprompter. No, it's just an outline. So it helps me be more honest. And notice how if someone's not honest, they lack confidence. And I wrote that here. Like, yeah, like, have you ever noticed when someone it seems a bit off or unsure of themselves, like they're hiding something or don't have a confident vibe? That may be a sign that they aren't being honest with themselves. Has anyone felt like that or seen that happen?
Yeah, it's a little bit like hiding your insecurities in a way.
Yes.
I feel that sometimes I've seen the opposite though. Like people, okay, maybe they don't realize that they're not, those people that they can sell you everything. But if you know them, they can sell you, they can do nothing of all the things that they promise. I don't know. It's a weird, like, dude,
Yeah.
why are you selling stuff you cannot? Because I had like a meeting at some point that was like, can you do this? And I was like, yes, this, I tried it. I have a good backup that could help me if I need to do that, or I could learn. But I know people that will go like, oh yes, I can do everything. And then when the time comes, they don't. And I feel it's a worse experience for everybody.
Yeah.
When you end up being like lied to as a customer or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, when we as creatives, we care so much about the process and the people behind the process. And I guess that goes into empathy because we care so much. And there's people who are dishonest, and yeah, they have a overly confident vibe. And they can sell you a bridge, and it's like I can hardly I feel bad when I raise my rates. How can they just sell nothing? And that's another thing about being honest towards others is that just like yourself, you need to accept the good and the bad. And that's how I take it. If someone's not doing something right, accept that you can't change. You cannot change another person, no matter how much you talk to them. There's this saying: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink the water.
Mm-hmm.
there's there's times when I'm like back in 2014, I'm at meetups saying, "Stop using WordPress, stop using Joomla, look at Webflow, oh my god!" And I really wanted to shake people and say, "Stop what you're doing." But more and more, I realized you can just talk about it, and if they're ready to check it out, they'll be ready. And same thing with dishonest people. You know, if they're doing something dishonest, do as much as you can. That's even more honest, more people that can help more people, and hopefully they'll see it. It is not up to you to change someone else. It is not up to you to change how someone else thinks. It is just up to you to shine a light on the honesty um, and empathy as much as possible, and hopefully they can find their way, because that's all you can do.
Yeah, like I totally agree with that. I think in one of my latest posts on LinkedIn, I wrote, some days you win, some days you learn, because that's something that I had to learn myself. Some days everything goes perfectly well. You're having a fantastic day, you're so successful and strong, and some other days you just get a door in your face, and that happens, and you have to like reflect on yourself and like try and understand why that happened and how can I stop that from happening again. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Peach has got her hand up on our gather, so maybe she's got a question.
Hi everyone. Hi Nelson. Thank you so much for being here. I am actually a WordPress person, which you'll find amusing.
That's really fine.
No, I know, but I'm really, because I'm a designer anyway, I'm not a developer, so I'm not particularly married to it, in fact, and I'm very intrigued by Webflow for a number of reasons, because a really good friend of mine who used to be a WordPress evangelist is now a Webflow evangelist. And you have never met anyone who says, and he's actually created a WordPress Webflow course that's quite successful. And plus, last year I did a conference called Design for Conversions, and Webflow sponsored it very, very generously. So I'm all for Webflow, and I'm going to check it out. I mean, I don't design that much, so that's maybe, hands-on web design. But anyway, sorry for the digression. What I wanted to say about honesty, when you sort of partly said it, Nelson, because it was a while ago, I just want to say that I completely believe in all the types of honesty that you've listed entirely, and honesty with clients, with ourselves. I always say if I can't do something, or if I need to look something up, or if maybe I'm stronger in something than something else. So I absolutely agree with that. But I just wanted to say that sometimes people who say, "Oh, I'm just honest," I tell it like it is. What they're doing, your wife can do it, and you can do it to your partner or your mother or your brother. But often, even people who know you really well might get offended, because I feel that sometimes if you just, so to speak, say it like it is, you actually haven't done the work to try and deliver it in a way that's constructive. That's what can happen. So I think that the work of making something constructive is really important. And it's something that I've had to learn, because I was one of those. And sometimes I am abrupt still, but I've learned doing a lot of teaching, or actually talking to clients, having to persuade a client about something, or having to do reviews, UX and UI reviews of websites that exist already. So I sometimes, land on a site that I think is absolutely horrendous, but that someone built with love and care, and someone paid for, and so on. So you have to make sure that even though the final message may be, actually, you know what, you need to rebuild this, but I can promise you that it can be delivered in a completely honest way that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. So I just kind of sometimes, I had to learn this. It's a skill that you learn, but now I know I can do it. And I think it's much more constructive than they're just going, yeah, this is shit kind of, approach. And it's really interesting, because and I'll just say this last thing, and then I'll leave the floor. But I was just in a meeting a month ago already with a client. I'm leading the UX of the rebuild of a museum in Italy, and I'm only doing the UX. I'm not doing the UI because the museum director has worked. The museum rather has worked with this team of designers in Italy who are amazing. They're brilliant. I love their work. So they're doing the UI. I have nothing to do with it, and they have an ongoing relationship with the whole of the institution. So, and especially with the director who loves them. They can do no wrong. So that's what I knew. So that we got into the meeting, which matters to me a lot because the structure of everything we did together, it was, teamwork, and I was leading it. And the director, basically, we present everything and he's fine with everything. He says, yeah, no, yeah, it's all great. He basically doesn't say anything. He always says, congratulations, this is brilliant. And weeks later, I find out that he actually hated it because this team was working on the website of his wife's institution. And he was saying they've done the same design. And I found out like 10 days later, and like I was getting the Figma, I was thinking we're developing, I was having meetings with the developers to move things along. And so I talked to him and said, why didn't you tell me? Because I have a very close relationship with him. And I said, why did you not say it in the meeting? That's why we have the meeting. We have the meeting to find out whether you like the design. He was like, oh, but how could I possibly tell them, in front of everyone? It would have been everyone. It was me anyway. It would have been really embarrassing for them. And that's not having learned how to do just what I described. And I'll shut up. Thank you for listening.
No, totally understand. And that's ruinous empathy, where you're just trying to be nice, but then you ruin something down the line and you're not helping anyone grow. If people were honest at the beginning, like, you know what, it's not looking exactly what we want. There's nothing wrong with going back to the beginning because you're not
That's
actually
why
going
we're there.
Yeah, nothing wrong going back to the beginning because like it's not actually the beginning. You actually learn from the past, and so you're actually starting further down the line from the beginning. Yeah. So if this is the beginning, you're already ahead, even though you feel like you went back. No. And you also speak about like working with clients, like being honest. Yeah, actions speak louder than words. I can say all day, I'm honest. But if I'm not doing the work of showing how honest I am by doing the live streams and showing that, oh, I messed up here. How do I fix it? Oh, I had a heavily scripted live stream that hundreds of people saw, like, and I failed at it. If I'm not rewatching my videos to see how I can do better as a host and not learning from each learning opportunity, aka fail, then I'm not doing the work, to be honest. So yes, actions speak louder than words. And at the end, web design basically is education. If clients are like, why did you do this? Why can't you do it like this? When they're putting in a lot of suggestions, and the next thing you know, you're like, well, it has to be like this. You can't just tell them, oh, I know what I'm doing. Quiet, let me do my work. No, you got to teach them. And to me, that's the fun part of geeking out about web design. If a client is like, why is the hero role like this? Well, you see, with best practices, I did it like this. And here's the data to prove it. Here's some UX research that someone did from a reputable site. And here's why. When you can prove it with data, when you can show with your experience with past portfolio sites that you've done, then you give them the confidence. You're showing that honesty to them. You're not trying to be dishonest and say like, oh, I'm doing it because I know better than you. No, you're doing it because this is what you practice and you want to explain to them why. And it's all just education and you're guiding them. But in the end, like I said, you can only lead a horse to water. So you're guiding them to that solution. And if the client's like, nope, I still want it like this, like Claudia said, you win some, you lose some, and you just do it. But thank you so much for that story. And I think the next thing was empathy, and how I think about that is everyone here. I'll just be honest, and sorry if your YouTube channel gets like docked or something, but everyone's going through shit. No one has a perfect life. No one. The 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 most influential celebrities down to the average person, and no one in this world is perfect. No one, and so um whenever whenever someone is having a bad day or likes to lash out, um I always think like, okay, they must be going through some hard times right now. If they're like, okay, here's another example. Like, you're in an airplane, and then there's a baby crying, and this mother is trying to calm her baby down, and like everyone's just getting annoyed by the baby. I don't know, but to me, I'm like, yeah, I get it. That baby is probably having a bad time with the different air pressure, and that mother is having lots of anxiety because she doesn't want to ruin anyone's time in the airplane, and yeah. But you know what? It's a baby. So to me, I like to be empathetic. I'm like, I don't know what it's like to be in anyone else's shoes. In this example, I don't know what it's like to be in that mother's shoes. So all I can do is just be like, all right, just try to ignore it as much as I can. I feel for her. If there's anything I can help with, you know, if she asks, then yeah. But I don't think that's a good example. But yeah, I guess I'll throw it to your group. Do you have a moment of empathy, or how do you think of empathy?
I'm gonna just throw myself in. I think we're kind of responsive human beings. Like, we're responsive beings in a sense that we respond to inputs. So anything we do is because we've had some sort of input, whether it's something that is giving us some kind of pleasure or something that's annoying us. We're responding to something that's happening. So the same way that you were saying, learning opportunities, aka fails. No, stop saying that, because you're not failing. Your scripted intervention was scripted because you've got a huge amount of information that you have to remember for an hour. And if you're live streaming in front of thousands of people, you can be left with a blank mind, blank mouth, everything. So it's normal. We're all trying, everyone's trying. Nobody's unreachable. And the girls here, they know that if I like somebody, I just send them a DM, just the same way that I did with you. It's like, Nelson, hello, we love what you're doing, would you like to come and talk at Floxies? Like, I think we're all on the same level. And we need to collaborate and help each other out, and just create this collective growth where everyone can benefit from, instead of trying to prevail on one another.
Yeah. We're all on the same level, no matter who we are. And yeah, but anyone else? Go for it.
Okay. Because I thought Kanya had her hand raised. Okay, I can go then. Yeah, about empathy, something that came to my mind when you were speaking about empathy before, Nelson, a comment by, I guess everybody knows Ricky Gervais, is the famous British comic, when he was commenting what happened in the Oscars like 2 weeks ago. He said that if when you are offended or annoyed by something or by someone, that doesn't make you right. So especially, and I was also connecting with what you said earlier about being first honest with yourself, and then it comes automatically being also honest with others and build trust with to others. And especially when it comes to giving and receiving feedback. And I was thinking also in my early days as a designer, which was hard receiving feedback. I mean, it was hard for my ego. It was good for my job, for my project, for improving my skills, definitely. And I guess most of us experience these kind of feelings, even when even when we're not beginners. But still, I think even when something might come as harsh, if there's truth in it, we need to learn how to accept it and deal with our own feelings of annoyance and yeah, getting offended or whatever. But if there's truth in it, then it must be good, I guess, for you. And I also, even within our community, whenever I know Claudia since almost a year now, and whenever she asks anything, I've always tried to be very, very sincere with her without holding anything. And that was, I think, after a year now, I can say that contributed in growing also our relationship, because I don't want to be just nice to her, but I like to help her, and
She
that
hits
is
me up.
my way. Sometimes it comes harsh, I know, I admit it, and sometimes I also say sorry for my manners, but it's yeah, it's just who we are, and it's also to accept each other. And if we don't like each other, we don't have to deal with each other. I mean, we might change, we might pick the people who we deal with. So yeah, that's. And what I want to ask you is, in your job or your client relationship, have you ever had any challenging situation where you received a feedback that was hard to accept, or when you had to give feedback to someone you work with, maybe to someone that you manage on a project that they worked really hard, and they need to change everything. So how do you handle those situations with yourself and with others?
How do I handle harsh feedback, and how do I give feedback? Is that the question?
Yeah, both of them, both situations, because I guess you also have clients and also manage people with Webflow, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess you get feedback from clients, but also in your job you have to give feedback, I guess, to people.
Yeah. So from my freelancing stuff on the side, I did have a client that I had to we mutually agreed to stop the project. Um, I was months late. I have a team who helps me, and we were months late. I wasn't managing it correctly. His son was giving feedback, and I was being too empathetic, ruinous empathy, where I'm like, all right, I like the kid is nice, and I want to help him learn too, and then it's just no. They were asking for so much, and I tried to help them as much as possible because it was my first time ever getting such a large paying client, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I made it. I want to do everything for them. And yeah, I didn't give him the education, and it got so bad to the point where the person was saying, yeah, this isn't working out. I really thought you were better. And this is me, like, what, over 20 years in the business, and over 5 years using Webflow, and hearing that, yeah, we thought you were better, that kind of response. And I'm like, I'm a fraud. I who and obviously it hits you in the heart. It hits that ego, like, oh, I'm on top of the world, I know how to I'm so good, I can do this. And then bam, no, we thought you were better. And obviously I was like, distraught. And I e- I had to talk to I talked to my wife about it. I talked to a mindset coach, and yeah, I even asked her, "Can you help me write a response email? I don't know how to do this. Help me." She's like, "Calm down, make a draft, send it to me. I'll look it over." I'm like, "Thank you."
I'm
Um,
starting to think, Nelson, that your wife should join us. She seems to give great
yes.
advice.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll ask her if she's available. But yeah, she'll be super honest. I mean, listen to her podcast with the great design lead. She's on that podcast. Look for her, and she's really honest, and she will curse more than I. I've only cursed once on this stream so far. She will curse dozens and dozens of times more. Um, but yeah. So you got to just take it and then move forward and learn from it. That's it. You have to be honest with yourself. Yes, I failed. I'm going to learn. I'm going to press on. But um the thing about learning opportunities is you always have to remember you have support all around you. You have this community, Floxies. You have the larger no code community. You have friends and family. You can hire coaches. You just talk to someone. You have support all around the world to help you through this. All of these failures have been done before, just in different ways, and you can learn from those stories. As far as me giving feedback and managing people, I actually don't manage people. Yeah, I don't manage people. I um and I'm okay with that because I'm very much an entrepreneurial eh, entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, I like to wear many hats. I'm like, ooh, shiny thing. Let me do this and let me do this. Let me do this. Oh my gosh. So, but giving feedback to even people I work with for my freelancing gig, I give them that honest feedback and say, hey, you can do this better. And just like I said with the honesty, like I'm being honest with them with the intention of them growing, even if it feels harsh. I make sure to tell them, hey, um, if I don't tell if I'm not being honest with you, then I'm just hurting you. That whole ruinous empathy thing. So, um, yeah, take it in and also be honest with the other person that you're trying to help grow.
And as we're here, can you please explain us what does a product evangelist do? Because I feel like you've been like a Webflow evangelist throughout all these years with your videos, live streams, being so spontaneous about Webflow all the time. But as a job title, okay, now you're picking a book. What is a product evangelist at Webflow?
So I go door to door and I show people a book and I'm like, have you read the book of Vlad? It'll change your life. Here, leave this, read it, and let me know. No, just kidding. Um this this titles are just titles. Like to me, titles don't mean anything. It's like we said, actions speak louder than words. I don't mind if my title is senior talk show host or person who live streams. To me, it doesn't matter. But what I do at Webflow is what I've been doing for what I've been wanting to do for since I was 16 when I was teaching people in my computer lab class. Uh, here's how you write HTML, and I'm writing HTML on the board, and I'm like, this is the head tag, isn't it cool? Now here's a P tag, it means paragraph, and here's a B for bold, and isn't it cool? I'm just doing the same thing, and what I do so right now is live stream for Webflow, obviously, but also make sure to keep tabs on all the organic sub communities that have grown and come up with ways to better support the community. I mean, all communities, um, and also making sure that just the daily maintenance of social media, like Twitter, the forums, YouTube comments, Facebook page, the subreddit. So just making sure everyone's playing nice and helping out wherever I can to answer questions, and doing these gigs too. Yeah, so that's what I do, and working with the education team is so fun, and working with McGuire is is so eye opening, because if we, you see how hard that team works, and it's because of the leadership. And when you laugh at those videos, it's because so much learning, so much high quality work goes into every video, even those micro lessons. It's so amazing. But yeah, that's what I do. I'm sorry if these answers are super long.
No, I was just going to say that you're doing a great job at it, and everyone else as well in the education team. Everyone, I mean, we're here because we love what you're doing and we're supporting. So, yeah, keep going.
Thank you. One more thing on empathy. Uh, Whenever I'm going through life, I always have this user experience mindset whenever I'm going through life. Like, for example, if you're getting gas or petrol, and you're at the station and you're filling up, what are those things that annoy you? Like, you have to drive up, and then you have to take out your card, and then um, you have to put in your card, and then chew, and then, like, I've seen it where, like, you let's see here, you put in your card and it says, "Hey, would you like your car wash?" No. Would you like to sign up for a credit card? No. Would you like some soda? I kid you not. There was a vending machine at the station, and it's like, "Would you like some soda?" And I'm like, "No, I just want gas." Okay, the choose the octane you want. Okay, now you can gas up. And I'm like, every one of those moments is a pop up, and I'm like, ah. Um, And so I'm always thinking, how can it be easier? How can I make something easier? Or in the web, it's, we've all gone through websites where, like, oh, this is so annoying, or first time user experience when you're just opening up an app for the first time, or opening up a government website for the first time that you have to fill out forms. The user experience is so bad. And so you're always thinking, how can I make this process not only easier for myself, but easier for someone else? And so whenever I'm building websites, I make sure to think, not only how can I make this website look good, function well, is very optimized, but also, how can I make sure that my client, who I'm going to give the whole project to, how can I make sure that their experience of maintaining the site is great? Because the best clients I've worked with are the ones, after I launch their site, they haven't called me, they haven't emailed me, they haven't DM'd me, nothing. I hear nothing from them, and I love it. It shows that they don't need my help, because I gave them tutorial videos on how to maintain their site and how to use the Webflow CMS and the designer. I built the collections in a way that's so simple for anyone who can fill out a spreadsheet to fill out. And they don't have to reach me whenever there's a new blog post or something small to edit. Even for a nonprofit organization website I've done, they whenever they help with uh humanitarian efforts, and so whenever something happens in the world and they're sending supplies to that country or that place, um they need an automatic pop-up or some sort of bar that says donate now for this. I've made it in a way where they can just do it on their own rather than asking me to create a pop-up every time. And that's what I love to do. And there are times when like there's websites I stumble upon, I'm like, oh, I did that one. I forgot I did that. They haven't reached out to me. All right. Still is good. Yeah.
And accessible websites, if I may add.
Yes. I'm being honest. I still need to work on making things more accessible.
I can help.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I'll if you can just DM me, we can talk. Because I need help with that.
Oh, definitely. You can come at our accessibility hour.
Okay.
That might be interesting. Okay,
and
we'll talk later about that, I guess, with Claudia.
So
When
we have.
is it? I'm interested. Sorry to interrupt, Nelson.
Oh, no worries.
So Accessibility Hour, it's an event where basically I've taken ownership, and the motto of this event is learning by doing and testing. Because the way, if you don't know about accessibility, so it's hard for you to implement best practices as you're designing and building. Testing websites can help. So that's what we're trying to do. We might start with website of our own. We already did a session with Maria here, which was wonderful. It was meant to be an hour, but it lasted, I guess, like 2 hours. It was a wonderful conversation, and so that is basically the idea: learning how to test for accessibility, and then, if we have time, also how to solve accessibility issues, possibly within Webflow. But as we know, accessibility issues are universal, as we already had this conversation, Picha, a few days ago. So this is it's called Accessibility Hours. So we're going to test websites live and talk about different accessibility issues and solutions. If they are in Webflow, it's even better because we can even show how to solve. We don't always know the solutions, but we can have interesting conversation around potential solutions.
Thank you.
It's definitely something that we can work on together. Like we can have a chat. Yeah. Nelson, I'm mindful of your time and your commitments for today.
Mhm.
Did you want to tap on imperfections quickly?
Yeah. So just my whole thought of imperfection is that everyone is imperfect. And there's no such thing as perfection. And the thing that I've learned, the thing that I've learned in life is that the people who think of themselves as perfect, as like, oh, I'm the most perfect person, and like we're saying in the beginning with honesty, like this person is so perfect, I can sell you anything. I'm the best guy to work with, or I'm the best person to work with because I'm perfect. Those are the people who, in actuality, deep down inside, they're so imperfect that they're the least perfect person. And to me, the perfect type of person is the one who is honest with their imperfections. Because there's no such thing as perfect. Like, it's like when I see resumes and they have like, oh, I'm 100%, they have a bar graph. And it's like, oh, my skills, 100% HTML, 100% CSS, 75% Photoshop, or 75% Figma. It's like, what are those numbers? They mean nothing. There's no Figma will always be adding a new version, a new feature. So does that mean that your scale goes down? Does it like what is that? What does that even mean? There's no such thing as perfect. So stop trying to be perfect. I mean, no. The people who are striving to be perfect, knowing that they'll never get there, but they keep trying to, are the ones who are perfect. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I go through life, because I like to connect with people who are honest and empathetic, and they accept their imperfections, and they are unforgivably themselves, as my wife says, and she also connects with people who are just confident in themselves and they know, yeah, I'm not perfect, but so what? Who is? No one. So that's it.
That's brilliant. I think we just need to substitute and change the words failing for learning and perfection for progress. So we can all,
Yeah.
just like that's how everyone should feel. And we'll make a point and we'll try and we'll do our best in our jobs to share that with as many people as we can and try and make them feel better about what they do, about who they are, and that's the only way I personally think that everyone is going to really progress and succeed and just feel what is success, if not just to feel happy with yourself and what you have. And yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Well, Nelson, I don't know if anyone else here has got any questions for you, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing your honesty, your perfect imperfections into our space, and for sharing so much value with us today.
You're welcome. Someone else had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi. My big imperfection today is that I completely missed. I knew this was happening, but I thought it was at the regular time, which has been an hour later than it has been normally at my time. So I was completely confused. So I've missed it all. So I guess I'll be catching it on YouTube. But I wanted to say hi.
Hi, Penny. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Take it easy.
Hi, Penny. Really nice to see you.
Hi, nice to see you too, Peacha.
I'm gutted you missed it, Penny, but yeah, I'll try. And I was wondering where you were actually. Next time I'll bring you in person and say, where's
sitting
Penny?
here beating my head on something not Webflow. I'm wishing I was working in Webflow. That's where I was.
Well, let's see if nobody else got a question, we can leave our Nelson.
Wait, someone has a question.
Maria's asking.
Did I?
Maria.
Oh, sorry, Maria, your mic was muted.
She muted me at some point. I don't know why. I'm gonna get you for this.
Oh no, another one.
Everybody, we have a saying in Greek that it's like the enemy of the best is for good is the better, kind of. It doesn't really translate. I wonder how in your like cultures or languages, if you have like something that's against perfection, like as an expression.
Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm trying to think. Practice makes perfection. That's what they say here.
No, because I find it very interesting because it's actually true. You can do your best, but there might be something that is better or someone, and then it becomes like this constant fight of like pushing yourself, and maybe it's good enough, it's like
there's a book by Simon Sinek, and I saw him speak, and he calls it the infinite game. There's people who want to be number one, but like what's number one for how long, and then there's people who just want to go on infinitely, so you want to play that infinite game and not try to be number one. So I think there's a good read there.
Yeah, and beating yourself, like try next time for the next thing to do, again, give your best, as long as you improve. I think.
Awesome. Well, Nelson, thank you so much once again. I just wanted to give a shout out to Christopher Coleman, who's been very active in our YouTube. He's saying thank you, Nelson, and yeah, he's been participating to our conversation as well. So thank you so much for being here. Please come along whenever you like. We're always here every Wednesday around this time.
All right, and I'll ask my wife if she wants to be here next.
Please do.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're
Bye,
very welcome.
everyone.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, Nelson. Claudia, the bubble's on the board.
Oh, amazing. We'll go and check the bubble straight away. People, don't go just yet, because if you want to, I've hidden about 20 Easter eggs around the space. If you want to go on an Easter egg hunt, there's little eggs all around scattered. They've got each egg has got an embedded website, which will take you to a helpful, useful resource on design or Webflow. And they've been kindly offered by Mirella, who's got an amazing database with all these resources, and I've been embedding them into these eggs. So yeah, feel free to just go around, find your egg, bookmark those resources, and yeah, have some fun.
Is this going to be on YouTube?
No, I'm going to stop the YouTube right now.
Okay.
Good. Good.
I have